All right. Session 1, Part 2. I'm off my custom notes, and I am ready for the book. So, it's been about an hour. No, you have an hour to go. You have an hour to go until you, Gosstavo, know that you are going to reach the village of Barovia. It's not your most fancy town, Barovia. It's the closest one to Castle Ravenloft, so it's often prone to being prey, its residents. But it still has its own economy as far as you're concerned, and it's not the place where you like to bring your favorite people. The Lockie's more of a place for that. It's bigger, it's cleaner. It's not terrible. So you're relatively relaxed as you go forth. You know that Kolyan Indirovich is a fair burgomaster in his own right, and if someone is courteously asking for someone to meet him, if he has time, he'll come get you. So, as you wait and watch, where are each of you?
I would say Goss alternates between sitting navigator and going back into the wagon. At some point, Goss would like to study the clothing of the departed man.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little loud all of a sudden.
That was a very menacing thing that you were alluding to.
I wish to study his clothes.
Study the dead man.
See if there's any guild markers on it, or if there's anything that I could pick up from the way it was designed, or any sort of damage that was on it outside of the obvious direwolf teeth marks.
Direwolf issue going on.
Yeah. That whole situation.
Make a investigation check and do it with advantage.
That is an 18.
I have chips.
And you're eating it with a spoon.
Yeah, it keeps my hands from being greasy. Don't judge me. Okay.
That is a decent plan.
I am using my nails to do the
flip
popcorn.
through pages in a book, man. I don't want my fingers to have chip grease on them. What'd you get?
18.
Okay, 18. This man is wearing blue and white with the crest of a lily and a rapier. This is the crest of House Indirovich. It's the burgomaster's house. The same crest has been carried through the generations of their family, even though their name has changed. Before Indirovich, it was Bianovich, and before that, it was named after your father if you were a son, and your mother if you were a woman. Typically defaults to the father's name because it gets confusing, unless you're very opinionated about which parent you're going to be named after.
Alright. And so we would probably be able to bring him somewhere when we get to the village to have him identified and properly laid to rest.
Yes, you don't
A lot
recognize...
easier than if he was just some randomer.
Yeah, this guy looks like he was sent by House Indirovich to come to the gates of Barovia and leave this message of peril for anyone that might come by. And you remember what you read, right? Great peril with despair. It sounds to you like Kolyan Indirovich, who is... He's a very strong man. They think of him very highly in the village of Barovia. You're not sure what could drive him to that kind of loss of hope, except for maybe the devil himself.
Do I know what the Burgmeister's feelings toward the keepers are?
The Burgomaster, Kolyan Indirovich, respected your desire to get on the Devil's radar. He respected your want to overthrow the Count of Barovia and your desire for freedom and not being prey. He liked to go about it differently, through making laws and through safeguards for his town. His focus was on his people, not necessarily all the people of the county in general. You and the Keepers keep all of the people within your grasp. At least you like to think like that.
Right.
He kept his focus at home. It's part of why he was more successful in keeping his place well contained and well obtained. Understand. It's part of the reason why he was able to be more successful in a small area than you were in a large area. You guys work in subterfuge. He works in law. He respected your choices. He did not call himself your friend necessarily.
Okay.
Unintentional foreboding, but yeah. He didn't turn against you, and he didn't turn in your agents. But if he ever found a keeper of the feather, it'd just be like, hey, if the devil finds out that you are here, my people are going to answer for it, not you. So I need you to get it.
Right.
That kind of attitude.
Loud and clear.
The next time you come up to the front, after looking over that guy's clothing, she kind of forces the reins on you. She's like, you stay for a bit. Just keep them on path. I need to go check on something. And now she's going into the back to go look through her uncle's things, which I feel like he had a chest of stuff that maybe he didn't want her going through, but she is specifically, I think what she's trying to do, she knows that he said the elk know the way, but she's trying to find an idea of where localized the den is. Getting to the Vistani family, is that near the village of Barovia? Is it near? Because she's got names of places. Is it near Vistani? I mean, Vlaki?
Looking through his coded notes, I need you to first make a history check.
Okay.
I borrow over yours. Can I help you with something?
I mean, sure. Tell me if you can notice any more similarities to this. And she's trying to explain, and I feel like by explaining the code to you, it's making her refreshed. So,
Well, real quick, you have a map of Barovia.
oh,
You'd
I
be,
have that.
you'd be kind of a fool to go here without having one, right?
Oh, yeah, and I feel like my uncle had one. So I'm referencing the map as well.
So feel free to pick that up
I
and
would
handle
like
it.
I would like my tokens back.
He's there.
He's coming off the thing.
Just stations. So roll history with me.
My second roll's a natural 20. Thank you!
So, Chekhov. White. You're traveling along a lonely road in the mist. And you hear her words. You hear her say, I'm looking for a den. I'm looking for a... How much do you tell them? How much do you say to them?
I just tell him I'm looking for a specific clan of Vistani people. They call it the den.
The word den is what triggers this odd little vision that you have. You're going through a winding road, past dark buildings, past cleaner, larger buildings, past a towering tower. And then you turn right into the wilderness, past a small lake. and you see a cave. The den is over here.
Oh,
Up there.
dead.
All the way up there.
Okay.
Actually, it's right there. See that little hole?
Oh, itty bitty one.
Okay. So it's past lake.
It is way on the
Better
other side
talk.
of the map.
It is past Lake Baratok.
And you all are currently
Right here.
about here.
And where's Volaki?
Volaki is over there.
Okay. Whoop. Going through. Okay. Do you like point on the map?
Yeah, I point to where it's like, yeah, that spot.
She looks at that. She kind of like goes through the notes and she goes, "Oh yeah, no, that sounds right. I remember that lake. It was a long time ago."
You just kind of snap back to it. And just like, I don't know how I know that.
Well, if I'm okay, look, I think you were once somebody, but you don't quite remember who you are now.
I feel like every time Chekhov blinks, it's like the sound of like the shutter on a camera.
Oh God. Okay, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So maybe you're remembering something. Maybe you were from here before. Okay, so I'm going to the floor. Enough. Malaki. Do I know where the tower is? Wizard's Tower? Is that on the map?
Right there.
Okay. Convenient. All the places that they need to deliver things to are on the way to the den. That's great. As the player, I needed to double check. Because her priority is getting to the den, but now she's like, oh, I don't need to like rush there and go. I can, okay, good, can do these deliveries on the way. It's gonna be a long journey. They don't even know I'm coming. Ooh. Okay. From my uncle, do I have a name for anyone I'm supposed to talk to in the village of Barovia?
Well,
I know I have to go to the burgomaster, but I'm wondering if I'm supposed to... He was supposed to teach her this stuff, so she's like, oh man, am I supposed to speak to somebody?
you have been on your uncle's route enough to know that there are lords that have like what you saw in like Ravenloft, or it's schedule, it's addressed to someone other than the lord. That implies that he has enough staff for someone else to receive the package while he goes and does other important stuff. The fact that it's addressed to the lord himself implies that he either has no staff to accept it, or it's very important that he gets it personally.
Oh. Taking note of that.
It's like you don't deliver a package to the president. It doesn't say deliver a person sign from the president to get this package. It's
But this is.
But this is important. Apparently, either really important to him, or he doesn't have the staff to take it.
She's gonna check on the packages and see how they're labeled. Because normally things would be like labeled, like if it's something that's like fragile or something that's dangerous, like weaponry, usually it kind of lists a way of like what's in it. She wants, I feel like she's used to this. She knows how this works. Have the packages been labeled to kind of deceive what's actually in them?
No, they're not.
Okay.
The cloak of the bat is wrapped separately from the weaponry, and make an investigation check just for the heck of it.
I'm not bad at that.
You don't have it with advantage, but this is also required.
Okay. 12 plus 2, so 14.
The cloak of the bat is very nicely wrapped in soft tissue paper, like it's meant for a more feminine recipient. The weapons are placed in hay and wrapped in burlap like weapons normally are.
Okay.
No special treatment with them.
Okay. Shoving things aside. So, don't know about you two, but I'm a little bit on edge. I'm going to ask the elders if we should be doing something specific, because I'm just like,
The elders.
yeah, something my mother used to say. Talk to the matron and patron of our ancestors and figure out if you're on the right track or if you need to turn the fuck around. Basically, that's what I want to ask. I want to ask if I need to turn the fuck around. I thought...
You know that's not an option, Gosstavo. What do you say? Do you say anything?
He says, well, first things first, our business at the village of Barovia should come before anything else.
You're right, we're almost there.
Chekhov, would you like any additional garments?
You want some
getting
pants?
we're getting a bit closer. If there's something else you'd like to wear to hide your appearance, at least until we can meet with the burgomaster.
I just kind of look down at myself. Like, what do I see?
You see... You look at your...
the poncho on, yeah.
You look at yourself, and you look at Katya, and you have a moment where it's like, part of you is emulated to look like her, but you're also not entirely like her. You're made of metal on the surface. It's smooth, it's glossy. It's like it was purposefully etched to look human, but it's not. It's not skin. You don't feel anything now that you're thinking about it. You look at her and you see Katya breathing and you realize you're not doing that. You only have to do that in order to use the air to speak, but you don't have to do it. Not like she has to do. You're different. You might be a unique soul, like she says, but you do feel like there's a little more to it.
Do I need anything else?
I would say the poncho you're wearing, it is a large poncho, but you're also a 6'4" man. I think her uncle was probably nearly 6, but not quite 6 feet tall. He was
You're also
tall,
like
skinny
rocking the
individual.
full side nude thing going on. So,
it goes like to your crotch. Like it covers that.
and it's not as
Hardly
if
anything else.
you were naked. Like you could walk around as you
Yeah.
are because it's metal. It's not all flesh, but it seems that Katya and Gosstavo think there's a sense of indecency here.
Am I getting self-conscious right now?
Are you? I don't know. Are you?
I don't know.
Does he have to roll
what
an insight check on
what
himself?
save would that have to be?
Make a charisma saving throw. Beat a 12
To not be self-conscious?
to
or
not be self-conscious.
So I got a 10.
You feel suddenly like you weren't supposed to look like this. You have to, oh no, this is embarrassing. Oh no, and you kind of shrink in on yourself a little bit.
I think that your metalworking is very pretty, but maybe you'd feel comfortable with just some more color. Like in her, like you realize she's actually not of the concept that you were dressed indecent. You realize that's not what she is thinking. She's thinking decoration, accessory, loud, color. She's wearing more clothing than she needs to be wearing, even if her chest is actually pretty exposed. For you probably think that she's a little indecent, but.
You don't know anything about fashion.
No.
She's got lots of stuff going on.
Do you like color, Chekhov? You look and around you and you see clutter and you see life and you look at yourself.
I feel like the self-consciousness. Like I see Katya and I realize like, oh, she's I look at is it Gustav? Is it how do you pronounce that first syllable?
Gosstavo.
Gosstavo. So I look at Gustav, and I'm just like, describe again what I'm seeing. If I were to look at your eyes, what do I see?
You're basically seeing. They're like Deadpool mask eyes, or like Moon Knight. They're like the eye holes, so you don't see actual eyes, but they're expressive enough when he's talking.
I love that.
So he's also just as covered up as you are, but contrary to her having many different colors, you said yours were all earth tones, all
like browns, dark greens.
So there is
maybe like some splashes.
What are your limbs like?
I have 2 arms and 2 legs.
Covered in.
Like, it's basically like layers of like wrapped up cloth
of that fabric.
Essentially mittens.
Okay, I'm getting a better picture of your just weird
Brown ninja.
This laundry mummy.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Is it weird that I for some reason I envision a fedora on this? I don't know. What do you have headgear?
It's like I think the best way to describe it is it's a leather type executioner's mask that's tight enough that the eyebrows can also emote a little bit. So like from the cheekbones up,
I see.
It's an expressive leather mask, and then it's a cloth covering over his mouth that doesn't muffle his voice too much. Which is nice because it would be a pain to have to try and interpret everything he says.
I see, I get it.
Just as it would be a pain in the butt for you to go, oh, my name's Chekhov, all the time, because that is what you sound like. You're speaking behind a metal mask.
I think like it's probably oddly clear.
It is oddly clear because it was a design choice that somebody made.
Yeah. Anywho, but yes, he is like it is going to ask. Chekhov asks, I would like something to cover up, please, if you would speak so kindly, Gustav.
What would you like? Would you like pants? Would you like a skirt? Would you like shoes? Oh, I don't know. Your feet are kind of cool because they're probably metal. Would you like a shirt? Would you like a hat?
Yes.
Variety. You fit right in with that.
I can whip up something simple to start with. A long sleeve shirt and some breeches with pockets.
Yes.
Not a pretty in pink style fucking fashion montage in the back of a caravan.
Do you need anything or do you have your own supplies?
He has a set of weaver's tools, and you said you had like blankets and spare cloth.
There's a lot of blankets. I feel like what she does is she finds one of the spare curtains and some like spare linen she has. Just blankets and shit. It's a Vistani wagon. It's got so many curtains, so many things.
Just a sewing montage.
While you're doing that, she
Because it takes time to sew things, and it takes time to find the right fabric and the right density.
I feel like she has the elk slow to half speed so that it's not rocking the wagon so you can do stuff. And you also see her pull that little table. And you see her reach into a box and she pulls out decks of cards. One deck is large and it is got different kinds of backings and colors, and it looks like they're handmade. It looks like maybe from different hands. They don't all match. And then she pulls out another smaller deck that she kind of looks at for a little bit, and then she kind of like sets to the side and goes to the bigger deck. And she goes, okay, so our current situation. She's just like, I'm trying to figure out what have we done, what are we doing now, and what should we do next? Oh, Page of Strength. I don't like that one. Why is the Page of... Why is that upside down? She's like already just like fussing at what she's pulling out. She's like pulls out her notes from her mom on like what the different shit means.
Is Gosstavo familiar enough with card reading that he could relay to Chekhov what's going on?
I think she's about to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
actually, that's actually a good point. Chekhov. Wait. You look down, and you see an old woman's hands, clawed with age, lay out cards, black and white, heavy with shadow, guttering with candlelight, in like a cross shape. You don't remember what they said, but you remember they were important and that they affected the world around you. And your eyes do linger over to the black and white cards, and then suddenly you're back.
Okay, Page of Strength. It's about energy, about taking the chance to do something, and I guess that's kind of what I was doing. I was taking my chance. I was going forward even though my uncle is gone. The Page of Charisma, that one's about action.
But the answer is yes. Yes, you do know about this.
About taking action, realizing you need to take action. I guess that's what we did. If there was some action, you were dealing with the wolves. So, but now my question, that's what I was thinking before, that's what we dealt with recently. Now my question is logically, like, what am I supposed to do next? That's where the 10 of Strength is kind of confusing me, because that one's all about how you shouldn't, 100% rely on your own, self, and you should ask others. Great, so the cards literally just told me what I already was trying to do, which was asking you guys what you thought we should do. The cards told me to ask you. She's looking at the two of you. That's literally what the cards told her to ask.
Chekhov just looks to the stuff in the back.
Well, I'd say great minds think alike, but that would be giving me too much credit.
Nah.
He just looks to the back of all the stuff. He just turns back and says, money is money.
Yes, I guess I should just finish up what I was doing, do my job. I have to take my uncle's ashes anyway. And she gestures to a clay pot, which is tied down, so it can't be jostled with movement. And there's some stuff painted on it. It's tradition. You have to take fallen family members back home. That's what I was trying to do. I was going to take my uncle back home. Home is far away, but we'll get there.
She kind of looks at the other cards. These were my mother's. I think they were her mother's before hers, and her mother's before hers, and her mother's before hers. She says it 6 times. They're really old. She said that they were special. She wouldn't let me touch them, but Uncle gave them to me recently. Never really done anything with them.
Gosstavo, you know what those are. That's the Taraka deck, or it's one of many. The Vistani use them very sparingly. Primarily, they're only used by one, or only one Vistani dares to use them. Whenever new adventurers come through near the Sayre Pool encampment, which you'll see on the map, they always get a reading from Madame Ava. And it always alters the world around them, rarely in their favor. I don't think you've met a person that treats a Taraka deck with such casualty. I think this is an experience to you. I don't think she realizes what she has.
She always kept the deck separate too. Don't know why.
I think I might. There are decks like those spread pretty thin across Barovia. A Taraka deck is not something to be trifled with. Your mother was wise to keep it separate and as out of reach as possible.
When Uncle told me we were coming into Barovia, he said it was my birthright now to have them. Haven't used them yet.
perhaps it would be best to refrain from doing so. There have been stories about travelers who've had readings done with those cards that shifts Barovia somehow.
That's not how tarot works.
She picks up.
It's how magic works. No?
Oh, they're mine. Family right.
As you pick them up, a chill runs down your back.
Temperature change. Just kind of like, oh, cold breeze.
The lanterns flutter slightly as the cold wind blows through, which is odd, because there are no windows.
Well, the back is open.
That's the excuse you tell yourself.
Yeah, that's the excuse I told myself.
Katya, I'm going to ask you politely one last time to put that deck back in that box.
It is also the Vistani's birthright to do what they want with the cards. To interfere would probably be smart on paper. But do you want to?
I would certainly like to try.
What
Politely.
What happens?
This is gonna be. I think I know what this will be. Okay. I think, if I'm allowed to do this for RP reasons, I think when she looks up at you, it doesn't feel like Katya's looking at you anymore. You feel like someone older is looking at you. The green eyes are darker. They're the wrong color. She mentioned this deck was from her mother. And her mother's mother. And her mother's mother. Perhaps this deck has passed down through a maternal line older than even Madame Ava. You don't know.
You take the last two cards, number 4 and number 5, from the smaller deck.
Okay,
So
so
the first
So
three.
this one is 1, 2, 3, and then this one's 4, 5. Gotcha. And I would say this was a. I rolled. This is so good. I think you understand. Okay, so this is just for RP. Has no mechanical value. Nothing like that. But she mentioned she has not been in Barovia since she was a little girl. You're wondering now if there was a reason her uncle never brought her into Barovia often. And maybe it had something to do with her mother and her mother's mother. You don't know what this line was. But the person looking at you now does not seem to be Katya. Someone older.
You
And-
are looking at a descendant of Mother Night and Father Wolf. It's an old story. It's a very sacred story. You said 2 ancestors. I thought it would be cool.
I like that. Ooh, for could you please? This is all for role playing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you please roll an insight check for me? It's all for role play. It's all for role play.
As long as
16.
I told myself if you got a 15 or up that it would be enough. She blinks, and for a moment, the eyes you're looking at don't look human. They look canine. And then she blinks again, and it's normal.
the irises are too wide, and so are the pupils.
It was like everything was too big, and then it's back to normal. And she blinks again, and now it's Katya. She looks a little shaken, but the hands that she's holding onto the deck seem to have tightened. I understand you are concerned, but something is telling me I have to. More than birthright.
Perhaps you could convince whatever sense this is to wait until you actually know a bit more about how it works.
I know how it works. How do I know how it works? You see her hands like moving automatically.
You draw a card. You look down, and a card has been drawn.
Okay, she didn't even realize she did it. But it's Has he ever seen it? Have you ever seen it done?
Has he ever seen it done?
Like, personally, have you ever seen it? Like, seen a layout?
Question for you, Gosstavo. Do you think that you ever took personal, particular interest in a group of adventurers during your time? Or do you think you always kept at a distance?
I think probably once or twice.
Then you have seen this done before. There was not as much emotional reaction from Madame Ava, and that might have been because she was so used to doing it. So you may not have seen that effect before. You have seen an occasional Taraka deck. Twice in your life.
I would think the reason that I've asked is because her hand motions, drawing the card and how she's placed it, it's almost like perfect copy of the time she's ever done before. Like a little bit unnervingly so.
Chekhov, it's the gnarled hand, it's clawed with age, it's young, it's turning over the card, it's... You need to go back. He's coming. You have to... You're back. The second card goes down. And a third. You touch it,
I haven't
the
looked at it yet.
small one, and your fingers seem warm, almost inviting.
I know you haven't seen what I've drawn yet, but for some reason, this feels very thematically perfect for Katya.
And fifth. All right. So I'm going to give you a good bit of trust, Cass, and I'm going to let you behind the DM screen.
Oh, to read
I am
what I've
going
done?
to trust you to find those definitions of
Sure.
those cards. I don't want you to read the
I
actual
won't.
definition, but I want you to read the flavor passage.
Flavor passages. Got it. Whoa, got it. Okay.
So this is for the first card.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna say now
Three of
as
Stars.
as she's talking, it sounds like multiple women. Because I like the idea that it's mother, grandmother, great grandmother speaking through her.
I see a kneeling woman,
Place of a Dark Lord, you have a queen.
a rose of great beauty plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. No, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh well, then I didn't draw that in order.
My bad.
I thought I'll just switch it around. I thought it was. Let me look at the layout again, just to be sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, good thing I know which ones I drew in what order, so I can just move them.
Second card.
Yes, I know what it is.
I'm reading it for the sake of the recording.
Oh, okay. The first card was Enchanter. Second card is Priest. I'm trying to bury.
You will find what you seek in the castle amid the ruins of a place of supplication.
Just face planted.
Guild.
I know what that one is.
Third is the guild. Oh, wait.
I see a dark room full of bottles. It is the tomb of a guild member.
I gotta pause. I'm so sorry. I forgot that this is such a larger chunk section that it is. There is like a whole, there's a section, and there's like
It's already gone 3. There's only 2 more.
yeah, but I'm not sure if it's, yeah. So we got section 1, which you did get right here.
Mm-hmm. Enchanter.
So
And section 2 is. And then, number 2 is Priest.
Actually, no, you're correct.
Right. Number 3 is Guildmaster.
Number 3 is the
Guild member.
master.
The guild member. I see. I think I saw. I think the descriptions I saw tomb.
I'm assuming you were going off of this
Yes.
facing.
I see a dark room of bottles. It is the tomb of a guild member. Number 4 is the different section, which is what threw me off.
Number 4 is beast.
Beast. Love this. A werewolf holds a secret hatred for your enemy. Use her hatred to your advantage. And 5th,
Dungeon.
this one, her voice resonates, and your eyes momentarily bleed red.
Read it at the same time, both of you.
Oh, yes. He lurks in a hall of bones in the dark pits of his castle.
Your eyes ache, your muscles ache, your fingers are cold, and your back. Take a picture of that and send it to me.
I'm going to, for RP reasons, and also because it is something that was discussed, so thematically, I feel like kind of.
What was the third one again? The first one was...
Enchanter.
What did you describe it as?
It was a woman kneeling. Someone would know of who I speak.
Let me... There it is. Okay. You want to write this down? Are you writing it down, or...?
I know, I am.
Yeah, right.
I got
You
the-
have your own little...
I got the names of the cards jotted
What
down.
was the name of the first card again?
Enchanter.
I see a kneeling woman, a rose of great beauty plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak.
A kneeling woman whose... What was plucked too soon?
A rose of great beauty plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. Did you take a picture?
I did take a picture. I sent it to you through Facebook Messenger. The last RP thing that happens, she sounds tired now, but it still sounds like different women speaking. Her slightly older than older.
And the second card was...
I'll give them to you later.
She wants the RP to continue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
You
like
can take notes later.
Yeah.
She literally has them written in a book. She can give them.
Yeah, I
as
can
needed.
show you later.
Either way, we don't know the reason for this fucking meeting anyways. So, like, okay, you said stuff.
Yeah. And
I feel like these words resonate in your heads in a way that you can recall them if you desire to. I'll let you know what they mean so that you can write them down.
Yeah.
So the last RP thing is she sounds tired, but there's still multiple women. Fate is not set in stone. It can be redone, redrawn, rewritten. I can do that again if I need to. That's what that meant. It's not permanent. It's not... It is real, yet it is not real. It is like smoke. It is only tangible if we need it to be. If we do not, I can redraw. I'm going to...
You feel like you've touched something that is so hilariously beyond your own power, and yet you feel at peace.
I have a question for the DM. This is just something that popped into my head that I think could be thematically interesting. for later down the line, especially considering what you said in terms of the cards. If much later down the line, as Katya levels up and becomes a bit more familiar with how this works with her ancestry, could I choose to take a point or multiple points of exhaustion to only draw one specific card?
I will say this. You can spend you would have to inflict upon yourself as many points of exhaustion as the number of the card that you drew. If you wanted to redraw card number 5, you're bringing 5 levels of exhaustion.
Yep. And I think it takes 6th is dead? Or
6 is
7?
dead.
Okay. So if we wanted, okay. That is only if we want something to not change from the original drawing.
As time goes on and you feel like this in the back of your head, because you are not trained in these arts, you do not know what each of these cards represents. You just know that you have made a statement and you have written a facet of reality.
I can wipe it clean and do it again
At the cost of sacrificing a piece of your own soul.
if I'm trying to be specific about it.
Yeah.
As we understand more, we'll see what happens. She carefully puts the deck back in that very ornate little box.
And also, there's an option of asking someone who is trained in the Taraka deck. But you're the only one that knows what that is. Chekhov, what's going through your head right now?
Is that the thing that it happens normally?
Not with my other deck. Not unless I'm putting on a show. I've done that before. Easy money. That one though, I don't know. It was different. I felt like I was writing something, and it was now. Felt like I wrote something on a stone for everyone to see, and it's there now. But I also feel like I can just throw the stone away and write a new stone. I feel like I can also scratch something off the first stone and do that, but I think it would hurt. You see her kind of rub the gold coin that hangs from her ear. She has one gold coin that hangs from her ear. She's kind of rubbing it.
Well, if we ever feel like we want to tempt fate, perhaps next time we should go to someone who fully understands how it works and how best to manipulate it to our advantage, if that's even possible.
It is, I think. It'll just hurt. Like a lot.
Right, so maybe let's look into outsourcing next time.
Or maybe someone can teach me? Do you know somebody? My mother told me things when I was younger, but she died when I was 3. So I don't know much else. I've been trying to find her journals. My uncle hid it somewhere in the wagon. But if you know someone, maybe they would teach me? They are Vistani?
I don't know if they teach, but they're Vistani, and they are more than willing to do as many of those readings as long as there's someone around to do the readings for.
Maybe I can talk to her about this reading and she'll know more than me. No, she should know more than me. I don't know a lot. Although that one, that 4th card, I felt that one. That felt personal. Her finger taps on the table, and the way that it hits the table doesn't sound like a normal nail. It's a little harder, thunking, clacking against the wood.
Just off enough. The road becomes bumpier. The dirt is getting a little bit more well-worn. That means more wagon trails, which means more civilization, which means they're getting close. And thank goodness, Muffin and Croissant moved the way, so they didn't need anybody to show them the way.
Muffin and Croissant are good boys. Kind of like there's like the air like pat, like she can't reach them, but it's like the little air pat. Uncle trained well.
Matthew lands on your shoulder with stuff, and I can't do a fucking crow noise. I'm sorry.
Well, that one actually was pretty good.
Gosstavo will essentially have a nice, full, very dense Thieves' Camp message recounting the direwolf attack, finding the message, the 2 compatriots that he came across, and Katya's ill-advised escapade with a Taroka deck.
How subtle are you with this note
And-
writing?
and where they are currently.
Okay.
And he slips the letter to Matthew and just nods slightly.
I'll work on it. He takes flight.
The bullet point about the Taroka deck is very heated.
Yeah, just like.
You know how to gurgle?
That was good!
You do that while saying the word caw. 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 Caw.
I'll just make you do Matthew for me.
Caw. Caw.
Okay.
Valid question though. How subtle are you writing this note?
What's your passive perception? Roll sleight of hand.
Rolling my
12.
efficiency sleight of hand.
Beat a 12.
13.
Oh,
That was so
that
fucking
was
close.
close. Yeah,
That was
okay.
clutch.
With mittens.
You write it in your mitten. Slip it to the crow.
He's very good
Yeah.
at that.
All right. As Matthew flies off and you approach the village, Gosstavo, it's too quiet. Except for blowing your nose a fucking half a mile away.
Sorry.
It's more of a joke now.
Yeah,
It's not. We're not upset at
I'm
all.
not
It's
upset.
just funny.
Yeah.
It's just the timing of it. It's so good.
Chekhov discovers that they have a nose.
Wait, you made
No,
me laugh.
it's a scarecrow. It caught hay fever.
Just. That's you. Thank you. Okay.
It's D&D. It can happen.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, yeah, we literally played in Neverwinter that the scarecrows came alive in Barovia. That was actually a thing.
Approaching the village. Gosstavo, it's too quiet. By now you would have met somebody. Whether it just be a passing peasant or another merchant. It's so quiet. Tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. The windows of each house stare out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts through the silence, except for mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. And something big has changed since your last been here. You were last here about 6 months ago. There are holy symbols mounted on every rooftop.
Katya leans over and says in kind of a loud whisper, stage whisper,
Is it always like this? Is that normal?
Not to this degree.
Great.
The village of Barovia has never been a hopeful, excitable, or happy place, but it's never been this bad.
we go get the map.
In the meantime, what clothes did you make for me?
He would have thrown together some just very simple long sleeve shirt and kind of wide legged, not exactly like parachute pants, but essentially loose fitting cargo pants with whatever the most flexible cloth was available to him. It's functional clothing that covers up the extent of your metallic arms and your side bits, to the point where
I know, I probably had it
like
right.
your feet could very easily be passed off as
Kill.
just prosthetic hands, and your hands could be passed off as prosthetic hands.
All right, keep the
Because a
punch.
prosthetic torso, that would be really confusing.
So, this is what you know. That is the Burgomaster's mansion.
And south.
This is where the crying is coming from. This is the mercantile. That's the church. And this is the town inn.
I forgot this is all Winteries.
Which way are we coming in from?
We're
coming
coming
in
in
from
from that
this
side.
Okay. So north for me.
Alright.
So the orientation.
It's oriented like this.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just trying to.
That's fine.
So you're coming in from this direction.
I'm getting closer and closer to the crying, apparently.
The crying is over this direction, actually. The fact that it carries so many streets is remarkable.
Do we see anybody on the street?
There is absolutely no one.
Just looking around. Do I see anyone like watching us through the windows?
Make a perception check.
I'm not proficient, but I have good bonus because of reasons. One of these. 15.
You do see shifting figures in a few of the houses. But when one turns its head to look at you, half of its face kind of falls off as its eyes follow you. And it turns to follow the light of your Bardo, and it collides with the window, seems startled, and just continues to shamble throughout the house.
Kind of like slapping at you, because I think you're next to me in front, and you're like probably like right behind us, like in between, like looking around. She kind of slaps at you and gestures to the window. I imagine there's like a blood smear or something.
It is dark.
Gosstavo, without really... I don't know what's going on. Without making like a sudden turn, kind of grabs at the batting hands and like sets them down gently. Does he know if the inn and the stables are a relatively safe place?
I mean, they're as safe as anywhere. You also know that undead, unless they are purposefully moved to aggression, tend to be rather passive. Just gotta keep them where they are. You also know they're not particularly tough. You just don't want them to bite you.
Yeah.
Someone locked one in a room of their house. That's what that is.
Gosstavo just whispers, "In first."
What time of day is it?
Make a survival check, actually.
Okay.
Because it is dense with pale gray fog.
Ooh.
17 plus 2 is 19.
Your body clock tells you it's around 6 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess,
It'll get dark soon.
With a glove.
I guess we can go to the Burgermaster first thing in the morning. I don't like putting it off, but alright. If you think that's best.
Have you a spare container for putting our other passenger in? I fear that having him exposed to the open air was not going to be very good.
I point to the box you came out of.
Chekhov, help me find your lid.
It is in 4 pieces on the ground.
You use that. I point to like a spare tarp. Just put the tarp on it. Do you have any rope?
I have 50 feet of hempen rope.
There you go. Just tie the tarp around it.
Do you want to go back in the box, Chekhov?
We weren't talking about him. We're talking about the dead body that he
The
has on the
corpse.
car.
Yeah.
I got the other corpse. I got
No, the real. We're not.
got
all, we do not refer to
We were
Chekhov
all
as a
on the
corpse.
same wavelength.
I
here.
wasn't, okay?
I was like legitimately like,
corpse.
I go pick up the corpse
Not
and just
Chekhov.
thud into the
And
thing.
you do the tarp.
Do you take his longsword and shield before you do that, or you just get in chainmail, or do you just leave him?
I think during that RP, one of me or Gosstavo would have
One
pointed
of
it
you
out.
two, like Chekhov is just like,
Do you know how to use a sword?
You do. I'm not sure why.
How about you take that one then? I point to the longsword.
thank you for speaking for me.
Listen, there's a law. Okay, never mind. I will stop. I'm sorry. You
If I
asked me
ask-
you asked me how you were feeling a lot. Sorry.
If I ask, I ask.
Okay, I was done. I promise.
And then, does Katya have any air freshening herbs that we could
Put in the box with it, or
Funny that you say that.
just something to remove any decaying odor.
It's funny that you say that.
Sage.
It's so funny that you say that. One moment.
What kind of sword is it again? Is it a longsword or a short
Longsword, basic longsword.
She goes rooting through her potions kit, herbs kit, and considering that these are not herbs normally used in any potions of actual function, I'm going to say she's got a cluster of regular herbs used for regular teas or to smell nice.
Sure.
So she's got like some chamomile, lavender, things like that. Those have no magical focus other than let me make you a hot cup of tea, make you feel better. Like that's literally all it would be. So she takes like a thing of rosemary and a thing of lavender, ties it together, drops it in the box.
When we're taking the things off of the cadaver of a man, is it just the sword that you recommend taking?
I gesture to everything else, but first she was asking if you knew how to use a sword. You say you think you do, so I mentioned maybe you should take it, and then I gesture to the rest. I don't know if that would fit you, but you could see. Gesturing to the chainmail and...
Yeah, I start pulling off the chainmail and like examining it, the shield, and I notice the boots. So like, I look at my feet. Then I look at like his feet and her feet.
I have small feet.
Take the boots.
Actually, I think
everybody's doing it.
I think you noticed that the entire time Katya's been in the wagon, she's been barefoot.
Oh, she's been barefoot.
Mhm.
Oh.
She has sandals to pull on to go places.
Either
but
way, the point is, she's like,
barefoot.
he has shoes. I do not have shoes. You should probably get shoes.
Seems like a fashion trend.
Will they fit?
Yeah, shoes.
Put them on. What the? I'm assuming they're like old and dilapidated, and new boots are needed.
They are very worn, but they are serviceable. This man was sprinting frantically through the forest for a week. They're dinged up, but they're wearable.
Now here's the big question: the chainmail.
Do you want them to fit or not?
So here's the funny thing about chainmail and L armor that works in the Warforge. You put it on. I need an hour.
You need an hour to put it on.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
So you just kind of see him just put it on like the poncho, but it's just like loosely fitted. It's not. This isn't actually armor.
let me put that in a bag. We can help you put it on in the inn.
If I may flavor something.
What?
As you reach to gently disentangle your new friend from their chainmail, you see that the links are starting to shift and like lightly attach to the very edges of their metallic shell. Like it's in a process of doing something.
Through the wonderful shirt that you just made for me.
Katya very firmly just yanks to stop it.
It pops free.
Put it on with that shirt off.
Take shirt off. Still has poncho on.
Takes poncho off. Helps you take poncho off. Okay, now put it on. She kind of gestures at you to come closer to see what's happening. She's like, I saw. Just kind of staring at the chainmail. For a moment, you probably think she's crazy, but then does something happen?
May I give a flavor bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So you see essentially these little, because his whole metallic epidermis is like layers in armor. It's not all symmetrical, but it is every bit needed, every panel needed for every form of articulation that a humanoid body can do. And you see some of these panels flip open, and beneath it you see the putrid sinews and flesh underneath, and they just kind of latch on like little frog tongues, but like millimeters in diameter. Just
Like tiny threads almost.
yeah, just attaching on like spider webs, just like attaching onto individual rings and pulling them closer and tighter, and then shaping the metal and other things around it. It gets really weird around the spine.
Like the finest gossamer.
Can you feel that?
Feel what?
Oh. Well, at least your body likes to armor itself? For you?
Is that good?
Kind of cool, actually.
Well, they'll definitely come in handy.
It's gonna take another 59 minutes.
Put the shirt and the poncho on top. No one will see it.
Poncho.
There you go. No one will see the shifting net. It'll be fine.
Is it making a very audible noise?
Not
You know,
very.
alright.
Like
It
you
probably will just sound like clinking chainmail, like he's wearing chainmail.
It sounds like the faintest of rustling of like a chain in a light wind. Like it's easy to dismiss even in a quiet room. It's only if you stand too close in a quiet place for too long that you go, is that coming from that person?
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
it's obscurable.
okay. So let's put that box over here, and I kind of like help you move the box with the corpse in it to like the very end of the wagon, away from things. She puts a tarp underneath it because it might leak. She's being pretty specific about it.
It's your family wagon.
It's my
Staying in the
wagon.
wood.
I don't want no stain. Good thing I have the tent. Consider those tarp pieces. So is there a place for the elk and the wagon at this end? Like, is there a stable?
You approach. Let's go clean this up real quick.
It's fine. We know. We
Because I
know.
don't want it this.
We know where the buildings are now.
Yeah.
That's the Burgermeister. That's the inn. That's where the crime was coming from. That's the mercantile, and that's the church. I remember.
Good.
I thought the inn and the mercantile were the opposite sides.
She put a square around this one and said that was the inn.
I could be mixed up.
Either way, it's one of those near the center.
That's one of them near the center. I could always double check, but since we're mostly in theater of the mind,
It's neat.
Yeah.
It's no biggie. We're at the center of town, big building. So is there like a place for the wagon and the elk?
You approach the tavern. A single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the main square, its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog.
By the way, was it chainmail shirt? Sorry.
I think it's just called chainmail.
Oh, it's just chainmail.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah. He was a personal guy from a noble house that was sent into the Svalich woods. He was kidded for a commoner.
All right.
Cool.
Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. The N has been scratched over with an F for Blood of the Vine Tavern. Somewhat sassy vandal. There does seem to be a very barren stall for horses and wagons. You would have to park your wagon outside, but if you unhitch your elk from it, that thing would be horrifically difficult to steal. So
Yeah, I do that. I unhitch the elk so that they're in a proper stable for themselves, and after we've maneuvered the wagon where it would should go.
it takes you like a slightly awkwardly long time to put the feed in these, like clean them out first and then put the feed in there.
It's fine.
You do that and you like have that moment of, finally, and you look up and there's like a very large blood splatter on like the wood pillar beside you. Just like, nope.
Yep. Just completely decides to completely ignore that.
Ignore that.
Ignoring that, turns around and had just.
Do not see it.
Was it one space for the wagon and then a space for each of the elk?
There's no space for the wagon because it is so big, but there are places for the elk. And the wagon wouldn't really be stolen because it is huge and it is heavy.
Yeah, I just make sure to take in only the valuables. I take in the things that were ordered because they are actually things of worth. I'm like packing them into boxes. I feel like I'm ordering the two of them around to like carry things. I've got my storefront
There's like a
chest.
small hand cart that you can assemble to carry the important things.
Just the things of value. The rest of it is just like regular shit that won't be that important.
Okay.
And then we go into the tavern with my little hand cart of things.
This once finely appointed tavern has grown shoddy over the years. A blazing fire in the hearth gives scant warmth to the few souls huddled within. They include 3 Vistani, the barkeep, and a rather tired-looking blonde young man. He's got a little bit of a hunch to him. He looks incredibly exhausted. He looks like the bags under his eyes would be $100 to go at the airport. You know, he is so tired. He sips wine, sits down, glances up.
Hello. Room for 3?
2 rooms.
Okay. I don't care. Your money. I want the room. Yep.
He waves at the barkeep, and the barkeep looks at him sidelong. Room for 2. All right. It'll be 20 gold pieces for the 2 rooms.
Steep. Okay. I give him 10. Or what I'm assuming is my room, since you specified 2.
I place my 10 now. And we also have 2 stalls in the stable.
Be another 20.
I provided my own feed.
18.
Gus puts down the 20.
Your patronage is appreciated. He goes back to cleaning the glass. Meanwhile, this young man who looks like a day over 20 has been like half standing up and sitting back down, like he isn't sure how to.
Who?
This slightly scrawny blonde young man at the corner table.
Is he making glances towards us?
He's staring at you.
Can I have
While you two are like dealing with this freaking tavern keeper of just like being outrageous with his prices, I start walking over. By the way, since this is chainmail, that's like the whole shebang. By the way,
Yeah.
nice?
it's like from toe. I got like, lingerie gaiters and lingerie stockings, because that's how it was originally put on.
Oh my god! So is it all of that? So all of that is underneath all of your clothing. That's
Fun
amazing.
fact: knights used to wear garter belts.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's the hood, the fingers, everything.
Cute.
Neat.
So I feel like I just gained bulk underneath the clothes. Thanks for making them loose fitting.
You look like you've got a Killmonger's tally marks, probably.
That's what yeah, it's just...
You look like a built motherfucker.
I look like a weird design in an old, like, 40s Marvel comic. Where the guy was just like, he's in chainmail, you gotta put little C's all over him. I'm like... Stanley's going like, what?
So what do you do?
I start walking over to him.
He kind of sits back down into his back, like hits the back of his chair, and he like goes a little still as you approach.
Can I help you? How did that come out?
What?
No, like I'm asking you, like player to DM. How did that come out?
How did what come out?
How did he say it? Like how he said it? What does it sound like to this kid?
Did I say it by threatening accidentally, or did I say it like...
I think from the environment this guy is raised in, I think he took it as a threat. But make an insight check for me, if you would. What'd you get?
Net 20.
Okay, nice. He is so excited to see any kind of new face, so much so that his instinctive fear of a creature that looks like you is overwhelmed. Because you absolutely see that he's like very caught off guard by what you look like. That's really scary to him. But he's so happy to see someone that isn't people that he already knows that he just doesn't care. Hello, well, gotta remember manners. I am Ismar Koyanovich. Oh, please sit. If I may, if you may.
I feel like at that point I've noticed that Chekhov has like wandered off and I've just kind of been like,
Sure. And he just like sits down in one of the chairs. And the chair just creaks under the weight.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Cass, Austin, I just want to point out that apparently my character is 294 pounds.
holy shit! Nice.
Warforged had like a random weight and height modifier. I'm like, fuck it, let's go.
Big boy.
Strong elk.
So much metal.
I feel like Katya noticed you wandered off and she just goes around.
I assume I make thud noises.
Yeah, you're loud. You stand out.
I do loud steps.
Just like,
I am not quiet.
you have disadvantage on stealth.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have disadvantage on stealth.
Yeah.
So
He's a kind guy.
default passive stealth is like at a -5 right now.
fun.
Yeah. What do you do?
Katya coming over. She's like,
Chekhov, don't go wandering off. Oh, hello.
Hello. Would you like to sit?
At
I have wine. I have a pitcher of wine.
Oh, yes.
she just like immediately sits down. She's like, oh, wine, yes, please.
Gosstavo sits incorrectly.
What does that mean?
Are you
It
like
means
you're
that-
pulling an L and you're like both.
It means however you interpret
You're pulling an
to
L.
me.
You're pulling an L. You went feet first on the chair.
Whatever
And
the,
you're kind of
whatever the
crouched.
proper way to sit in a chair is, that's not what he's doing.
Okay, you're crouching on the chair. He takes
Spider-Manning the chair.
I personally take offense at this.
She just kind of She is not bothered. She's just kind of making subtle grabby hands at the wine.
Yes, here. What are your names?
Gosstavo Ditkovich.
Gosstavo?
You can just call me Goss.
Goss. Right. Like, no, that was a dumb joke. And you?
And me.
This is Chekhov.
Yes, I am Chekhov.
Huh. And you?
Katya Moonshine. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Are you adventurers?
Ish.
By the way, we killed some wolves on the way here. That wasn't very fun.
Well, we didn't kill them. We chased them off. My elks chased them off.
Is this an adventure?
She just kind of like makes gestures about her elks like punching wolves.
But quite marvelous elk. Yes.
Well trained elves.
Chekhov would now like to contemplate on the whole philosophy behind what is an adventure right now at this moment while doing that.
Oh my god, hearing the
What
word
role do I have to
adventure.
make?
He laughs like a little too loud, and you hear like a glass being set down a little hard at the counter, and he kind of. Sorry.
Things feel very tense around here. Did something happen?
Where have you been for the past?
We just got here.
Right.
Last time I was in Borovia, I was just a kid.
Some time ago then.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, we have been set upon by the creatures of the night. Are you able to be hired for a job at all, please?
I do not believe I
Price is no object. Just
It depends on depends on the job. I mean, I kind of already am on a job, so I need to probably specify. I am Katya Moonshine of Moonshine & Co. I'm a merchant. I am bringing goods to those who bought some. I have some for the burgomaster, actually. I need to take to him in the learning.
you do?
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to be here for a while. I have to go to my family home past Valaki, past the lake. I'm Vistani. I get to go see my family. I'll probably be here for a while. Depends on what the job is. What is job?
I am hoping to take my sister to Valaki, to the next town.
You see her like pull out her manifest, and she's like squinting at it.
What did the burgomaster order?
I'm sorry. That is customer client privileges. Cannot really discuss that with the public. But I am going to Valaki after this, so I have big wagon. I can do passengers. Paying passengers, but yes, I can do passengers.
How much would it be to Valaki?
I lean over to you because you're the local. I lean over and go.
How far away is Valaki from here?
It's about 4 hours wagon ride. 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours by wagon, optimistically.
Is it for you and your sister, or just your sister?
Me and my sister.
Okay, 2 people. We did run into some wolves, so protective detail, kind of.
You also know that the road goes past Castle Ravenloft. That is a very dangerous road. It's not like you go towards it, but you have to go through the gates of Ravenloft to go down the road you're speaking of. It's not a death sentence. It's just getting into real close approximation with things that you should not.
Yeah.
But there's also the problem that she's already going to Valaki. It's not like she. Yeah.
It's just information.
Gosstavo brings that up. He says, we would also have to pass through the Ravenloft Gate,
Yes,
which brings us rather close to that castle.
And this is why price is no option.
Oh,
No object. This word in common, yes.
I don't want to do like highway robbery, or I'm not like that kind of person.
Money is money.
You're learning. Learning. Money is money. Sorry, it is. like I said, I am a merchant. Money, literally my lifeblood. It's literally how I function. The way she says it, I feel like at first he might have just kind of gone on the whole thing about like, oh yeah, she's a merchant, gold's important. No, there's something about how she says that. It's almost like she needs, and he probably sees the coins on her. It's almost like
a
she
mantra.
she physically needs it. It's like he's starting to think that she might not spend money because she needs it. Like it's like a weird kind of thing.
So,
His bad posture is getting worse.
how much could you comfortably give that does not, like, hinder you or your sister in the town of Alaki? I don't want to, like, completely, like, take all of your money. That's just rude.
It will give you 300 gold pieces if you protect us on the road and keep our identities a secret.
Oh,
Right? And then you can leave us. You can leave us in Voloki. I just need to get past the gates. And we'll be fine from there.
She kind of looks at him curiously, and she takes out like a slip of paper from somewhere, and she sketches a quick symbol, which is reference to the smuggler group. She's a monk that is actually in places of Barovia, and she's wondering if you recognize. She just kind of just subtly draws it just to see if he has any kind of visual reaction to it.
Make an insight check. Also, who has the highest passive perception here?
I have a 12.
Mine is. What is my passive?
10 plus whatever your perception bonus is.
Oh, yeah, there it is. My passive is 14.
Okay,
He has
and...
the highest.
Okay.
I roll.
We're the same.
I rolled a 17 plus 4, so 21.
He glances at it, searches amongst the lines like he was expecting it to be a note, and when he saw that it was not, he looked a little confused and then back up at you like
Okay.
he didn't want to like draw attention to the fact that he was confused.
She just kind of takes the paper back, doesn't show any sign herself as anything, and she's like, "Oh, it wouldn't be the first time I've done jobs like that. You know what?" And she says this in a way that she's hoping he picks up on it. "I'm sorry, I don't think I got your name again. So what is the name of you and your sister that we are going to be giving you a ride tomorrow?" Gives him a very pointed look.
Is it not easier if you do not know?
That can be suspicious if someone asks who's traveling in a wagon.
May I give you a false name?
That is exactly why I am asking.
Okay. I am Dimitri, and her name is Anastasia.
Pleasure to meet you, Dimitri. I look forward to meeting your friend. Like I said, first thing in the morning, I do have to take something to the burgomaster, but
She starts to stand up, and she's like passing him like she's going to be going to her room, and she says quietly, and if I have to do deception or sleight of hand or whatever to be whispery, she just says,
mine
"Mine is the only wagon out there," and just like basically the whisper of, "You can fucking hide in it whenever you want to, tonight, tomorrow, whatever."
Make a persuasion check. This isn't like dire, this is more of like how is he going to treat you from now on.
16 plus 6, so 22.
You do not have the words in common to describe the relief that comes over his face. Thank you. Truly. Also,
Physically come. Gotcha.
yeah, physically.
Yeah, she was passing his chair, so
Yeah.
she just kind of like me stood.
For those of you listening, the DM is whispering to Katya's player.
Jeez, thanks.
Is there anything else that he said? Or is
That's
that
it. You hear a little bit of his throat is a little constricted.
Okay. Good to know. Just keeps walking. She's gonna have to figure something out because she's got goods to deliver. But if he won't take them, then
What did he want?
insight check.
Go for it.
I have a suspicion, so Katya has a suspicion. So insight check. Woo! 16 plus 4, so dirty 20.
You see your eyes flicker over his face, and you realize that he's trying to push back a really raw emotion. And then you look down, and you see that his, like, worn brown leather jacket, half hidden on the lapel, is the Indirovich crest.
And you said, because I studied the packaging the other night, earlier in the day, that one seemed specifically packaged for, like, almost like a gift.
The cloak. Back,
yeah,
yes.
the cloak.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm so silly. Uncle forgot to change the manifest, but he did say something about how I was supposed to give the packages to. They were supposed to be gifts from the burgomaster.
They were?
I'm sure I can figure out who they were supposed to be delivered to in the morning.
You can roll insight on her if he wants to.
No, this man doesn't have a lot of presence. And he piped up about 4 separate times, and when you talked over him, his voice just died.
It's okay, but she's still talking.
No, I know.
She-
Yeah.
I'm sure I can find out where they're supposed to go in the morning, or perhaps someone will come visit my room later tonight and tell me where they're supposed to go.
She just kind of- It's like very obvious that she's trying to like drop the hints of like, I think I know who they go to now. I think that's you.
And he's trying to say something, but you are so loud and so abrasive and charismatic and so colorful that he can't get it out. So
It's
by the
fine.
time that you're gone,
It's perfect.
like,
It's perfect. I'm carrying the stuff, taking the stuff to my room, so you can probably see that there's stuff.
well, his eyes kind of track it, but not in a way that makes you think he wants to steal.
No.
It's
I'm hoping he picks up the fact that she literally has everything on her.
Yeah.
She's trying to drop. Come to my fucking room. That's
Okay.
what she's trying to do.
Chekhov and Gosstavo.
Gosstavo.
You are left alone at the table with this stranger who has deliberately given a false name. Feel free to have more of the wine if you drink. It's fine.
Both of you have masks. I forgot.
He sits there for a moment. He refills his goblet, drags it over to himself.
I like to order something to eat to bring up to my room, but thank you for the offer.
Business seems difficult.
Considering that our population has been rendered to some 10% of what it was 2 weeks ago, I would say so.
Why is that? The population, I mean.
No, he did mention the vampires, but is that really like Chekhov just didn't connect the two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a persuasion check.
He's not great at these. Really not great at these. He rolled an 8.
He says, there's someone that the Count wants for himself, and he blows his nose. And we will not let him have them.
Is the Count a bad person?
The Count is the most magnanimous person. He goes bone white in the face.
So clearly not telling the truth.
He's killed my father. And I don't know what to do. He was always the person that we could look up to know what to do, and he's gone. I don't know what to do. He pours himself another glass and downs it as well. Is it really so bad to run? It's not so bad to run. I will meet you here tomorrow at dawn. And if I do not show up, then Godspeed to you all. Good night.
Likewise.
He gets up, he kind of stumbles half to the side and braces himself on the wall. Right, smiles, squares, back, confidence. We love you, Ismark. Love you. And he walks away.
Poor guy.
Is that normal?
In most places, I'd assume not. In Morovia, unfortunately, not far off. And Goss goes up to order some food to bring up to his room.
You get that. Chekhov, what do you do before you close out the night?
I guess I'll just sit here and wait.
Okay.
Goss tells you where Katya's room is when you're ready to turn in for the night. So that you're not just sitting awkwardly in the
It's just like,
tavern.
yeah. Turn in.
Well, I suppose sleep isn't exactly something you do, but at some point tonight, this tavern is going to close down so that the owners can rest and the patrons can rest. Katya's going to her room to rest. I'm going to my room to rest. Plus, you probably don't want to be isolated on your first day.
Oh. I can't stay here.
Technically, you can't.
Oh. So I should go to Katya's room.
Yes, I can walk up with you.
Thank you.
You do so.
Walk up.
Okay. Do you
With
guys?
my boxed up dinner.
Yeah, you're boxed up dinner.
You knock on the door. It is open. You open the door. Katya is sitting in the middle of the floor in a floor-length nightgown kind of thing. Like she seems so much smaller without her layers. Clearly getting ready for bed. All of her hair's up top of her head. You notice the coin jewelry is still on her. She hasn't taken them off. It's like that's still on her. But you notice that she is in the process, because I can do this as a ritual. She's in the process of wrapping a silver wire around her room. I have the alarm spell, and I'm gonna freaking use it because I can do it as a ritual. So,
who do you exclude from it as you're casting this?
or
who do you include?
I am only including you and you.
Okay,
Only
so-
including two people.
So you're not including Dimitri.
She hasn't finished casting it, so I'm going to say that she actually does think about it, and she decides to let at least him, just in case, because he seems scared.
Okay.
So, just
Alright.
3 people.
You do
So
so.
she's doing that. She's like, oh, careful, step over that, please. Don't snap it. I haven't finished casting yet.
What kind of furnishings are in these rooms?
It is very basic. It's not what you were supposed. Like, you're used to like price jacking in Barovia. This is like a 2-star motel for the price of a 4-star.
I
It's,
felt that personally.
Yeah, it's a hay mattress without a cover. The straw is clean, but everything else isn't really. There's no mirror. There's like a stool in the corner of the room for you to take your boots off on. There is a shitty little rug that looks like it's older than you. And the ceiling is kind of caving in just.
Oh, I hate that.
I draped some of my extra blankets on top of the mattress already.
I will sit in the stool.
It is like a 10 by 10 room. It is small.
There really would not be room on that bed for the 2 of us, would there? There fucking would not. Not that tiny thing.
This is a peasant's room, but it is shut. There's also no windows either. Absolutely none.
That's fine. Hope you are fine with the floor or stool. I already took dibs on bed. Because you kind of put 2 and 2 together immediately. You bringing him up here. You're like, oh, I have a roommate. That's fine. Cool. Honestly, I haven't slept alone in like 22 years. My whole life. So, this is actually nice. Just so you know, I talk in my sleep. I do not know what I say, but have fun with that. I have a feeling she has like weird night terrors, but she doesn't remember any of them.
It's also like
Honestly,
the
it's
things
better
you
that you-
say are just they're not even that spooky. They're just like awkward enough to be off-putting. And you'll like sit up and stare at the wall and have a conversation with it and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's better that you room with her. I sleep in the nude. You don't want to see any of what's going on under here.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, you must be like my uncle. He did the same thing. Just you get used to it.
She's just putting things around in her room.
As
I'm going to go ahead and not read into that.
Chekhov would like to try the difference between what it is to sit in the stool and to lay on the floor, which is better.
weirdly enough, it feels like absolutely no difference to you. You are not tired either way. You are not uncomfortable either way.
The floor does remind me of the box. The box is nice.
The box was
The
nice.
box was nice.
He slides underneath the bed.
There is no underneath.
There's no under. Oh, is it
It
just?
is a hay bale.
Oh wow. Okay. So he's just going to be in the darker spot.
You tuck yourself kind of between the wall and the hay bale so that your knees are kind of tucked up.
It works.
No, like lying down. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's just beside then. Okay.
So
You
yeah,
go
so
to
you're
your
between the hay.
And you unpack all of your business.
I'm one of those. I have one of those sleep cycles where it's like it's a 4-hour sleep cycle. I'm completely conscious the whole time.
Fun. Gotta
Uh,
love the trance.
First things first, I test the weight of the hay mattress. Like, would it be enough to hold the door shut?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like, for any normal human, yes.
All right. After locking the door, I move the mattress so that it is blocking the door.
Okay, you just said.
And then I take out my mess kit and tinderbox to reheat my dinner, and I remove my cloth mask so that I can eat.
Okay, you just said.
Does the audience get to see anything?
Does the audience get to
Is it
see
still a
anything?
secret?
That is quite the question.
I can't.
Once he's done eating,
Okay, yeah. Not for you.
True to his word, he disrobes and removes his leather mask. And he goes into the center of the room and does not sleep on the bed.
Cool.
I love being me though, because I am your girlfriend. I know what you've done. I know what this is, and I'm so excited for it. I figured it out the moment you described what your character was wearing.
Listen, I don't control her.
That just means I get to be excited.
In due time.
I get
In
to
due
be
time.
excited. Oh!
All right. You are not disturbed.
Yay. I sleep full of light. And I say very weird shit in the middle of the night.
However,
Oh boy.
in the middle of the night, there's like a soft, distant howling. It's not a wolf. It's not clear enough to be a wolf. Gosstavo, I need you to make a history check, and I need you to make a perception check.
Oh.
Synthetic 20 for history.
I'll make grab my D4. Okay, so that would be 18. 18 plus 3, so 21.
That you've been to like a large gathering before. Like you passed by an angry mob once. And this isn't quite that, but it is the sound of dozens or hundreds of voices screaming in fury.
In fury. Angry.
And they're also doesn't sound human. You have heard the night hordes attacking before.
Oh boy, that's a name.
It's not here though. You have seen the aftermath of a pointed assault of dozens, if not hundreds, of vampire spawn, bats, imps, undead. But it passes by. Wherever it was aimed, wasn't here. And the morning comes, and you all gain the benefits of full rest.